Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're playing the new Order in All Things seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which we will automatically have our deck sorted with our strongest cards at the top, giving us perfect consistency. So let's go take a look at the deck. So today we'll be playing a Scoia'Tael Call of Harmony deck, which, because in this event we have all of our cards ordered from highest provision to lowest provision, we always have the exact same card showing up in our hand to start off, and in round 2 and round 3 as well. So we can always come in with a specific plan. That plan is going to be, with these first 10 cards showing up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, mulligan out Link Guardian Dusk Aspect, because although this is strong, we don't want to risk having to play it in round 1 where it just doesn't have enough time to get set up. And that should mean that you draw into Percival, and then that means for round 1, play Percival, turn 1 as your key Harmony engine, then play some additional Harmony cards with combinations of Saskia, as well as Weeping Willow, and Sirssa. And if you'd like to, you could even use Call the Forest to get out one of your lower provision cost cards, because those are generally going to be buried at the bottom of your deck, making it pretty hard for you to get them. And that could be worthwhile to get the Chameleon to set up those big Harmony cards. And then finish with Simlas, who should be your only elf, so despite him not having Harmony, should still proc the Harmony on all of your other engines. And then with him, you can use that to get your 2 Waylays out from your deck, which, because they're 4 provisions, are never going to be in your starting hand. So that's your round 1 plan. And then your other round win condition is going to be based around Quarixis, who will give us this Lock Fiend convergence every time we play a Relic, which is basically just a way to guarantee that we get a Harmony proc. And we have a lot of relics in this deck, and we can guarantee the consistency of always having those relics, because with Quarixis, we can then follow up with our leader ability to get Denna on the board. She's a relic. We can also get the other Denna, who is another relic. We can also use the newly reworked Unicorn and Chironex, who, because they will both start in our hand, means we can play them both on the same turn, give ourselves boosts and damage and 2 procs of that Lock Fiend convergence from Quarixis. So basically, just get whatever other Harmony cards you have on the board first, which is generally going to be your 5 provision stuff like Antherion, as well as Trained Hawk. Then you break out all those Harmony synergies from your relics, and that's where you get a ton of units on the board, a ton of Harmony procs, and by extension, a ton of points. So let's go see it in action. Alright, so going to ban Skellige here, and they'll go first. Now we just mulligan you, because we don't want to be forced into playing you in round 1. That would be bad. We get Percival every time, and he is going to be one of our big engines for round 1, so that works well for us, and this should be good. Alright, coming into Steel, I mean, we aren't going to do too much in the way of control here, so that Defender shouldn't be a huge problem. We will go Percival first. Alright, Croc. Now we know what they're trying to hide behind, that Covenant Steel. So, whatever we play that is small is very likely to get destroyed here. But I think we're still proceeding as planned, and that means it's going to be more Harmony here. Either Sirssa or Weeping Willow, and assuming that, whatever does get played will get destroyed, probably more willing to sacrifice Sirssa. So if we go with this, obviously all we can hit is you. Get some hand buff as well, and get Percival boosted up a bit too. Alright, they are very much going after her. Though they would prefer to get rid of Percival, of course. And they will, actually, with their leader ability as well. Okay, so that's pretty aggressive, and that's going to make it tough for us to win round 1, I think. So that does beg the question, do we want to deliberately not play some of our big cards here? Because we were going to continue to go down the Harmony route with Weeping Willow, Saskia, and potentially even Call the Forest into, take your pick, possibly a Chameleon to boost up all those Harmony cards. But since we don't have the engines we were looking for, it's not as effective. Also Simlas to get a bunch of Waylays out here. Could have been an option, but the Defender was going to make that not a great option. So I'm not really sure that makes much sense either. We do, at very least, have a throwaway card here. But then again, all these cards are good. So this might be one of the rare situations in which we actually pass round 1 so early that we don't even play 3 cards. Alright, now we do draw in some more Harmony here, which is good, because we still have a lot of our Harmony cards to play around. And we still very well may look to use Call the Forest to get one of the Chameleons out here, since that is otherwise fairly hard to get, since it's at 4 provisions. So I think we do stick with this. I imagine they'll push pretty aggressively here, since we are still on even cards. Okay. Longship we can move, and I think we probably should move it. Shut that down. Could also use Call the Forest to get our Lake Guardian. We deliberately got that out of our hand. What do we have in here? Okay, that's not a big deal at all. We don't care about that. That will never be a factor, in fact. Alright, and that kind of looked like that was just a bit of a throwaway, so I'm not too worried about that. We do want to make sure that we're starting to do some things that make sense from a tempo standpoint, though. So, I mean, if we are expecting a long round, we'd like to build up the Harmony. With things like Antherion would usually be an early one, because that can give us additional Harmony long term. Otherwise, pure tempo Simlas is a decent finisher, of course, and could get rid of Xavier, though I'm not really concerned about him, as I said. So, I think we'll... maybe we do go Antherion here. You know we're going to be able to play at least one more card in this round, and I am curious to see how aggressively they're going to push now. Alright, Deranged Corsair they could have used to automatically destroy the Trained Hawk. They opt not to do that, though. Okay, so let's go... might double down on the Harmony on the Hawk, just so that we have an immediate target for you. I think we probably do that, and then we'll go into Saskia. So you get boosted right away. And with Saskia, we are very likely to play an elf later on with Simlas, so we shouldn't use you, even if the damage is tempting. Rowdy Dwarf, only way we'd be getting a Dwarf would be if we used Call the Force, which I think is unlikely that'd be the target we'd go for. There's a chance we'd play one of you later, so I'd play a Dryad more generally later, so I think it makes the most sense to go Dwarf route here. Okay, they will pass. And yeah, that is what I was starting to think they might have been looking to do. Saskia obviously is an 11 provision cost card, so that's in large part why we didn't use her as a throwaway in round 1 when things were not looking that good, but she does take up a lot of board space and she does spawn in one more unit, and especially with a long round 3 with a whole bunch of relics combined with Quarixis, we are going to take up a whole lot of board space. So that is one of the reasons why I was willing to play Saskia. Okay, we do draw into the Lake Guardian Dusk aspect, which is good, because that was the card we mulliganed in round 1. Despite it being a good card, it does take a long time to set up. But now this is when we want it, in round 3, which means we can pretty confidently rely on Call the Force to give us... I think it's going to end up being a Chameleon. So I think we leave it at this. And... probably want to get a little bit of Harmony on the board before we start breaking out the relic synergies. So let's go first with the Antherion, because again, this can give us additional Harmony procs. Alright, Sigdriffus Rights. This is going to be for Croc. That's kind of what I expected when we saw them played in round 1. Yep. Okay, so... Simlas has enough damage to drop you down to 1, right? With double Waylay. So if we go double Waylay plus damage from Trained Hawk, that is sufficient. And that's either that or, you know, it's going to be a while, I think, until we're looking to play these guys. So I think we're more willing to go... yeah, we would have liked to have used Simlas as a finisher since he does not have Harmony himself. But I think we go Trained Hawk first, because that is a Harmony card, so we were already willing to play that early. I am tempted, but I'm going to hold off, because if we put it on the Trained Hawk, that is definitely possible they could remove it immediately. In fact, that is the card that is going to be targeted by Croc here, so let's hold off for the time being. They may still be able to answer Antherion as well, but if so, then we can't really do much to stop them in that case. Alright, it's Scenario. But I think we're still going after Croc here, which we should be able to do. Let's go now. I suppose we can do this because when we use Simlas, he's going to be the smallest card, so that's what Croc's going to go after, which is not a huge deal. So you're getting all the value from deploy. So we do this to get rid of you. So again, would have ideally liked to have saved Simlas near the end. He does take up a lot of board space. He's usually a round 1 card, but again, we didn't really want to use him round 1 because it seemed like we didn't have great targets in that situation because they were protecting their Croc with the defender, and we'd like for him to be something that procs the harmonies because he doesn't have harmony himself. But now we have several weaker cards on the board, which is probably... well, they aren't going to be able to bring Croc back anymore. They're going to be looking to use this, though, and we kind of like them to destroy some stuff, to be honest with you, because once we break out Quarixis, which we may be looking to do on our next turn, either that or maybe the Weeping Willow, we're going to take up a whole bunch of board space very, very quickly. Alright, it is a Corsair. Kind of expected them to go this row, though. And granted, it did get rid of some harmony, so fair play. Now, we would kind of like to get more harmony here to, or more units here in general to protect Antherion. Obviously, that means we're playing into the Cataclysm, though. So that's a little unfortunate there. Really don't want Quarixis to get destroyed by this. So we might just sacrifice Antherion. Does mean we're going to have much less harmony than I would have liked, unfortunately. But, I mean, they're primarily a damage deck, right? So if we can just survive, then we should be able to outscore them. Because their win condition is basically destroy everything. So maybe we do still go Quarixis here. Or we could even go, tell you what, we do this. And then we'll do this. And we'll put you in that row. Do this, and Symbiosis. I think we're going to really like you. Later on, we're going to really like you. Would like to put you in the melee row as well. And yeah, would like to have more harmony stuff on the board before we did this combo. So ideally would have been Weeping Willow first, but you know, it's one card, 2 cards really, that we did slightly out of order here, which I think is acceptable. Minor compromise to try to not lose Antherion. Okay, so now I think we do probably still sneak in the Willow in the melee row, because it kind of does need to go there. Then we go... we could go Denna now, but again, the more harmony cards we play, the more harmony procs are missing on Weeping Willow. So it really just needs to survive one turn, and then it's going to get much bigger. Okay, Sucrus, if this is going to be Chat, then that's a bit of a problem. Do we have any more? Okay, unfortunately we lost Denna. You have a lot of armor as well. It's not like we're about to break through that here. Might be able to get some movement if we... no, we've already have beasts, so we're not going to get it from you. Okay, well, I think we just have to proceed. Now we can avoid the melee row, because now we were unable to prevent losing the unit there, but we do this. And you are relics. Ooh. I mean, that's pretty risky in the melee row. Chances of us actually having the armor to make that happen is pretty low. I guess we go the safe route here. We would like to get the Chameleon out here with Call the Forest very soon, I think. Question is this going to be Chad? Because his adrenaline kicks in right now, so I would bet it probably is. It is. Okay. Forget, we might still get Harmony procs, for what it's worth, even if Chat destroys units. I mean, you can actually survive it. Whereas others probably cannot. Really wish we still had a little bit of movement here. Just double check. Oh, we actually do. We do. I take it back. We do. Yes, this is 100% the best move. 100%. So it means no, unfortunately, no Chameleon, but I think we'll have to settle for that. Definitely worth it, because otherwise Sucrus plus Chat is going to be pretty powerful. Technically, we should put you here. Alright, nice. And, I mean, the longer we wait on Weeping Willow, the stronger it is, so we're going to try to be greedy there, but see how greedy we can get. Alright, Terror of the Seas is going to be a lot of damage. I'm curious what they go after. Should be Quarixis. That was the wrong move. Or they don't know that we have so many relics remaining here, but let's see. So if we go for you first, we're gonna get 3 damage, where if we go for you second, you're getting 6 damage. Same thing for Unicorn, just for boost. So what do we prioritize? I mean, Order Chat is gonna damage whatever we play next by 3. Just barely would have the Unicorn survive, or we could go immediately into you and just remove Order Chat altogether. I kind of like to hit Terror of the Seas here. Maybe we give this a shot. Alright, and it's going to be immediately into you. Ah, you're next. Okay, that was me. Not paying close enough attention. That is going to get hurt a little bit. But it looks like Dwarves are the only category we do not control. Oddly enough. Yeah, so I was not paying close enough attention to see that Terror of the Seas was now the card that is next to Sucra, so obviously we should not have tried to hit that for damage. Best option might have just been the Drakkar, because it's already been healed from round 2 of the scenario, and it is the biggest unit here. Yeah, would have been the best target, but I think we should still be okay here. We have a very large lead at this point. Okay, we drew to more Harmony, which at this point, you're not going to be a huge factor, because we already have a Dryad on the board, but so be it. Okay, and I think that also means it might be time for us to use Weeping Willow here. At 4 power, we just saw they have some damaging specials, and that would have been enough to destroy Weeping Willow, so let's just make sure we get that value. And that was the counter-argument for it. Expected they would have Morkvarg, but then again, kind of expected, you know, they had plenty of targets they could have used on it. So one way or the other, they were going to find something. But that was probably their biggest answer to all of our boosting, and we still have a decent finisher here with the 12-point Lake Guardian. They realize at this point there's no way they can stop us, and so they forfeit. Alright, so going up against Nilfgaard here, and we'll go first. Okay, so the one thing we want to mulligan here is the Lake Guardian, because that is a card we do not want to be forced into playing in round 1, and that should give us Percival every time, which is a card we would like to build around in round 1. And, in fact, that is the card we'd like to lead off with here, and since this is Nilfgaard we're going up against, probably going to want to use this stratagem on him immediately as well to prevent the locks. Well, alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so now we're looking to get more Harmony out here with stuff like Sirssa and Weeping Willow. So, give me this. Alright, Mushy Truffle into what, though? Caravan Vanguard. Okay, that's a little bit odd, but sure, I guess. Alright, so more Harmony here with Weeping Willow and or Saskia. And then Call the Forest could potentially be into a Chameleon if we really want to boost all those Harmony engines up. Granted, Percival would have been the best one, so maybe a little less effective in that case. Let's go Saskia here. And we are going to play an Elf later with Simlas. That is probably going to be the last card we play this round, so we don't really want to use you, because that'll take away one of our Harmony procs. I think a Dwarf is a pretty safe bet. We already have Dryad on the board, but we probably weren't going to get any... Not going to get much value from the Symbiosis. I mean, we might end up playing Call of the Forest, in which case it's same amount of points as the Rowdy Dwarf. Rhino Nero. It's more Vanguards. Yeah, I was getting the feeling this was going to be a Vanguard spamming deck. So there actually was something to be said, kind of, sort of, for using Simlas to waylay and destroy the initial Vanguard, just because it would deny the bonded ability on this first one. Gets rid of 3 points on their side, whereas it means we're losing out on more than 3 points of Harmony procs in all likelihood, so in truth, I don't really think it made that much sense to go that route, but it was potentially an option. So Weeping Willow is another Harmony card we can build around here in this round, so we'll go for that. Rune Mage, okay. Might go for some lock here. Or, alright, fair enough. I mean, we had to put him in the melee row. Didn't really have much choice in the matter there. At least to get his stronger ability. So now, they have gotten rid of a couple of our Harmony cards. We don't have that much in the way of Harmony synergies here, to be brutally honest. So for that reason, Call the Forest into a Chameleon is not that enticing. We might just prefer to save Call the Forest instead for a later round. So, are we going to just go straight to Simlas right here, right now? Perhaps. I guess so. I guess so. And again, something to be said for getting rid of the Caravan Vanguards. If they were the only Vanguards on the board right now, just to deny the bonded abilities, but obviously we don't have enough damage to remove them all anymore. Oh, and they have Sunset Wanderers by the looks of things. That is very likely to be the last card we want to play this round. Then we're starting to look at stuff that we would like to combine. Morale is obviously going to have enough poison to remove on their next turn, although they use that Mushy Truffle order ability, which I would argue they didn't really need to do. So we are not that likely to play further in this round anyway. Yeah. I mean, we could move Morale into the range row. That is something we could do with Call the Forest, and then Saskia becomes safe. I guess we could do that. We'll do it with the Trained Hawk range row. So we don't have a beast on the board yet, I don't think. So that denies the order ability there. It puts us just barely in the lead, which I still don't love, because it's definitely still possible for them to catch us here. And we really don't want to play further. Yeah. I think in truth that was not really the right move to make, because we don't want to play any further now. Alright, so we draw in some more Harmony here. We are on even cards here in a round one, which is why I was saying playing further in round one, despite us being able to shut down their poison. At least their immediate poison threat was really something we should have perhaps opted not to have done. But this is our big combo that we have set up here. All the relics with Quarixis and some Harmony there for round 3. They may dry pass, in which case we'll use one of these as the throwaway. Otherwise, if they try to push, we do have a lot of firepower here. But we shall see what approach they take. That's one of the reasons why I was saying using the Mushy Truffle order was probably a bad idea in round 1 for them, because it would have been a very valuable tool for them in this round. But they are pushing at least a little bit, and the tricky thing is that tempo-wise, we do not have a great answer here. Unless we go leader ability, we do not have enough firepower to catch them in one turn. I think we've already accepted that we are willing to go down a card. We've already accepted that fact. And you are the best option for us turn 1. If it is going to be a long round to set up more Harmony. Yeah, a little unfortunate. They do seem to very much be a poison deck by the looks of things. So now let's go. I mean, yes, second Antherion is best long term. Obviously, it's what we'd like to lead off with in round 3 if that is going to be a long round 3, but seems like they're going to push pretty hard here in round 2, so I think we have to do this. We'll give it the double Harmony, because otherwise I think you're going to get immediately destroyed on their next turn. Erendite. Oh, okay, admittedly didn't see that one coming. Okay, I think they still have poison to remove this, so I definitely do not think we're out of the woods yet. So next, technically, would be this. And I guess you. Although, might actually destroy you with that. In which case, I guess we just hit you. And you could start to make a case for leader ability here. So that would be enough for us to catch them. We have 2 Harmony cards on the board, so it is at least getting some value. Yes, it's a relic, which means it would be best if we could go Quarixis first. But they've already messed with our round 3 strategy here, so I'm not really sure we can be talking about the ideal scenario. No, I'm still gonna leave it here, and they can pass now if they want, force us to go card down. They are gonna get the Sunset Wanderers, though. I think they're just trying to go long enough for that to happen in this round. Yeah, they're gonna poison here, remove, and get Sunset Wanderers down to the board right now, I think. So my guess is that now they're going to tempo pass. In which case... and Denna hasn't even evolved yet. Ooh, which is kind of nasty. She's actually kind of terrible in this case. Would have wanted to have played her very early if we expected we were going to need to play her this round at all. But, no. Our plan was, of course, to play her in round 3. Our plan was to play all these things in round 3. But, I think now it does have to be Quarixis. And now it does need to be leader ability. And this will give us... Let's see. This is the best point slam. Yeah, I think we have to go this route. Melee row. Alright, so these cards are not going to be very valuable for them at this stage. That is going to proc their harmonies, but we have a lot more synergies than they do, and they know that we have this double combo. And they're going to reset Mushy Truffle. Okay, so, I mean, at this point, they should have passed. I think this is getting pretty greedy, because now we're basically just going into our round 3 setup here, and we have the means to make this very effective. So we're probably going to play both of you. We'd like to save Denna, because again, she's not really that effective before she evolves, at least not this late in the round. So we can either get 3 damage first, or do we prioritize damage or boost? I think we might prioritize damage. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go here. Boost. I guess you. I'm going to draw more stuff here. I'm going to do this. I think we'll remove you. Then we're going to get 2 procs of this. And... granted, we didn't use armor yet. But, okay, that actually does still work reasonably well. I would like to use this here. And then you for whatever. Yeah, so now we've passed them, and I'm not sure they can catch us anymore. That's reasonably effective. Now, the problem is these are all pretty bad plays for us at this stage. The Fledgling does not have any additional setup. I didn't see, did we have other options besides this Dwarf and this Dryad? Could we have guaranteed we'd at least get the Harmony proc from this? Perhaps, perhaps not. Either way, this is going to have to be the play. Give somebody armor. Okay, so do they have enough points to catch us here? We would very much like to not have to play Denna in this round. Okay, there you go. As I said, I mean, yes, they bled out what was our key setup for round 3, but we do still have a very big Denna for round 3, and now she will evolve. Okay, and so at this point, that means we just want to have as many different kinds of units as possible. And we do kind of have that, although this is not a great set of cards for us to be looking at. But we are, of course, now at our bottom of the deck. We really want Lake Guardian. I think we gotta at least give that a shot. Darn. Okay. So, in that case, I think it's you first. You are one of the only engines we have here. And we can boost you... Unfortunate, but okay. Yeah, it's gonna have to be you next. Because either one would be a brick on this turn, but you have more potential on turn 2. Okay, oh, Nero, that's dangerous. Oh, but all they can do is get an Imperial Diplomacy. Okay, not as concerned about that anymore. That has no boosts, so that's good. So it's 2 points if we move ourselves. Oh, you are technically Harmony, so there was something to be said for playing you early as well. Yeah, actually. But then that becomes a card that they try to answer here. And we could damage you for 1 point and just make it harder for them to get that inspired, or we could move our own unit, which is worth 1 more point. It's the safer option. Technically speaking, Denna first is still better, right? But how bold are we going to be here? I think we might still do this first. Actually, put you here. Doing that first because, although it is technically worth fewer points, I am concerned about playing Denna on that turn and having her get locked or something like that. And hey, I'm curious to see what they were trying to do there. Verification? No way to use it? Alright, so now we go here. It'll boost you 2, which means we have a pretty large lead here. And they may be down to just their weakest cards. What is their finisher? Well, it's Erudite, which is strong. Is it enough, though? Not quite. We will still hold on for the win. So there's a look at the Scoia'Tael Harmony deck for the new Order in All Things seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below to let me know which other cards, archetypes, and factions we should experiment with next. And take a look at our Order in All Things playlist to see previous decks that we've used in this event as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.